Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We call this thing Baltimore Positive. We're getting out on the road doing the Maryland Crab Cake Tour. Whether the Orioles are a wild card team or whether they're not, whether the Ravens play meaningless preseason games or not, we're going to have meaningful crab cakes. So we'll be at Fishmonger's Daughter on Wednesday. All of it brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. I'll have the Ravens scratch-offs and my favorite kiss face bird all fall long. We're not even into football season, but I'm into football season. We'll be at Coco's next Wednesday, and I will be celebrating my Best of Baltimore designation with Max and Ron, who apparently voted on me and are expecting free crab cakes out of this. I'm happy to indulge and give them a hard time for making me Best of Baltimore, because now I'm going to lose my shtick next week. All of it also brought to you by our friends at GBMC and our partners at Farnan and Dermer. They are the comfort guys. Give them a call at 410-367-7777. I'm always comfortable having keynote speakers on because people tell me I talk too much on the show. And when I bring on other people who talk professionally, it gives me a chance to, I don't know, have some coffee, eat some peach cake. Rachel Druckenmiller is a keynote speaker here, not just locally, but all over the place, and has Towson background, and will be singing the National Anthem. I sang in a band a long time ago. I sing sometimes. I sing in the shower. I'll be singing with Geddy Lee on Sunday night when he's singing Rush songs in Philadelphia. She's also involved in TEDx and giving speeches and doing these things. So if I just give you the floor and you have to give your TEDx speech, can you remember every word? Because I've learned that I'm not ever going to be a TEDx speaker because I do not have the ability to remember words like that.
No, but I'll tell you, if I were to do one tomorrow, it would be stop sitting in the audience of your own life.
What does that mean?
Well, a lot of people just sit around, they watch people do stuff. It's like you watch Yellowstone, you never go to Montana. You watch cooking shows, you never take a cooking class. You sit in the audience and watch people sing and you never sing. So I started getting on stage and now I feel more alive and I love it.
I'm not afraid of the stage but I can't get myself to do comedy yet. So what I've decided to do is I've made an avatar that looks like me. That's going to be a real wise ass. That's going to stand like on a bar and tell jokes without me ever having to really do it. So I'm going to write it and I'm going to have the avatar be it for me, because we've moved into 2026 and I can, if I have stage fright about my comedy, I can just push it out on the web and be a star out there in reels. How about that?
How about that? You know how you get more comfortable performing? I've learned this. By performing.
Go do it. Yeah. Yeah. Go wet yourself a few times. Go out there and get the confidence that you need to do this. You have such an unbelievable story. You're going to be singing this week at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Tell me your story, because I know you're close with Bill Cole, is one of my partners, and you show up on my LinkedIn all the time. I have seen your videos. I've seen you out in places, and I thought one day I'm going to have Rachel Druckenmiller on from Towson, for a Towson radio station, and she's going to tell me her story. So give me your story. What is your keynote speech, Rachel?
Well, I'm born and raised in Baltimore, so I am through and through hometown girl. And I grew up as a very kind of quiet and shy version of myself. And so a lot of people are like, you speak on stage now and you were shy at one point. How does that track? You know? And
I was class mouth in my senior year of high school at Dundalk High. I didn't have that problem.
Your whole life. You've always been this way.
Unfortunately for those around me. Yes. Yes.
Well, I haven't. I mean, it took a long time. I worked in corporate for 13 years. I did work in well-being and workplace culture. And then right before the pandemic started, I was like, you know what I should do? I should leave my corporate job that's stable and secure and start a speaking business where I talk to rooms full of people. That's a great idea.
Where did you, I mean, one thing I love having teachers on. Like in a general sense, and coaches, you know, when they're willing to come on, because all of them stand in front of people. I mean, you know, and it never occurred to me the courage it took my 24-year-old African-American second grade teacher in Dundalk in 1974 to get in front of all of us and our parents in Archie Bunker's Dundalk 50 years ago. And think about the courage that my first teachers ever had. They're like parents to you when you're there, or like an extension of that. But as I get older and have the ability to teach now, and I know a few things, I think like getting in front of a classroom and teaching somebody something, there's a massive amount of courage involved in that every time I see a keynote speaker, I think, well, every teacher does this every day. Every leader does this every day. But it does take something to get up and be a keynote speaker, of which I'm probably qualified to be. And I could get AI to write me the greatest, most heartwarming speech about my wife and like all these things that I've done. But like then there's the actual get up and do it that every time I'm at. and Accelerant of Anacomics, places where someone like you would get up and get. Brian Billick's my partner. I've seen him do it 100 times. It's there's a level of confidence that I would say you're either born with it or you're not, but you're not necessarily. It can be learned, right?
Yeah, it's learned. Well, and I'm married to a teacher too. My husband's a PE teacher in Baltimore. So he has been teaching for almost 20 years. And so he teaches kids, I teach adults. And, I found a lot of it is that when we take action, it gives us evidence. And then the evidence gives us the confidence to believe we can do a thing. So you just got to do a thing enough times. Like I did not grow up thinking I wanted to do this. I wouldn't even audition. I went to Notre Dame prep for high school. And I wouldn't even audition for the high school choir because I was like, that is way too risky. What if I mess up? What if I'm not good enough? And so even though from the time I was like 7, I would sing alone in my room to like Mariah Carey and Celine Dion and Amy Grant.
How did you do? How were you in your own mind? Were you good then?
I think I was okay. But here's the thing. If even like my parents were around, I would stop singing. Like I was so self-conscious. I wouldn't even sing around my own family.
See, I grew up in a church, so everybody sang. So it wasn't like that was part of getting out and doing that on Sunday morning when you're little. That, when I joined the choir, the chorus, the singing part wasn't as weird to me as I've been on the radio 35 years. Yeah. And if you ask me today, if Bill Cole called and said, man, our Accelerant person canceled, you got to come do a speech, I'd be like, you're unmuted. I would be muted, and muting me makes everyone happy. A mute version of Nasty Nestor is a very, very happy community here. So I'm telling you that I do have a level of stage fright that would shock people. I've been on stage bringing up bands. I've been on stage singing with bands. I've done all of that, but there is that moment. And I think I've heard rock stars say this. If you don't have just that little tickle of uncomfort before you go out, you don't know you're alive. Right.
And I love you said that. That's the thing that I help people do. I help people come alive. And like when you do a thing that scares you, like when I gave my first keynote, I had no training as a speaker. I talked to 400 people 10 years ago. And I learned something. There's something that I tell people a lot when I'm on stage is that like an invitation is an indication of a qualification. So like,
yeah, correct.
You get invited. Somebody thinks you're qualified. Somebody thought I was qualified enough to invite me to do it. And now I do this. I've been doing this full time for 7 years, speak all around the country to, tens of thousands of people a year. And the thing that gives me the courage to do it is because, well, one thing is side note, hit by a car. I was hit by a pickup truck in the spring of 2020. I was out running in Timonium.
With a mask on, maybe? 2020, that was a...
I know. Well,
all we had was outside. I'm so sorry. That's horrible.
That's all we had was like Seminary and York Road, like running across the intersection. My husband was right ahead of me. There was a white pickup truck, Chevy Silverado, stopped in the right turn lane. That was stopped in the right turn lane when I approached the intersection. And this dude takes a right turn on red as I'm in the center of his truck, carries me like 2 to 3 feet off the ground into the middle of the intersection, eventually realizes, oh my gosh, there's a human on the front of my truck. And he slams on the brakes and I fly off, end up at Sinai Hospital where I'm told I have a spinal fracture in May of 2020, 8 months after leaving my corporate job to speak full time.
In the middle of the slowdown of things. So you're now in the hospital during COVID?
Oh, which nobody wants to be. Also, my husband couldn't come with me because of all the protocols. So I'm like by myself. And then literally, I can't make this up, Nestor. 2 days later, I'm in a back brace, which looks like a backpack, standing just like this at my desk, giving a presentation about building hope and resilience in the midst of uncertainty.
Well, so much for inspiration. Rachel Druckenmiller is here. She is local. York and Seminary, man. I've gotten gas there, pizza there, Chinese food there, Plato's Closet there, Subway there, Charm City Run. Like I've even been in the pepper mill. I'm not old enough, but I've been in the pepper mill. I do. So my God, what an anchor to have to drive by there again, huh?
Oh, I went there on the anniversary, 6-year anniversary this year. I went there and I just stood there and I cried. Like I'm standing at the intersection. I'm like, oh, my life changed. But here's the thing. There's something I learned from that like, even though I didn't choose it, I'm going to find a way to use it. So like, nobody's like, I want to get hit by a truck. Of course I would have never chosen that, but I'm like, I'm not wasting this. They say like, don't waste a crisis. So it basically unearthed this dream that I had from the time I was little, which was to be a singer. And literally 3 years after that accident, I released my very first original song. on Spotify at 38 years old.
So what did you feel good sing? Did you karaoke? I mean, I karaoke all the time, you know, like, no, you didn't do karaoke?
I did nothing. Like I would be, here's the person that I was at karaoke. Maybe you know this person. I would want to do it, but I would take 2 hours to pick out a song and I would write it down and I'd be so far down in the list that I knew I was going to be gone by the time they called my name.
You tried to not do it. I got it. I understand. You purposely, like me with Mickey Coachella has been for 25 years saying to me, get up, do 5 minutes. I'll bring you on. I'll even write stuff for you. I'll make sure it's funny. I'll get you over, whatever. And I'm like, my wife, I've talked to Louis Anderson about this, like, you know, when he was alive for crisis management. But at some point, I'm going to unleash. This is why I'm enjoying having you on, because I'm at this point where like I'm still like, I know I could do it, but nah, I don't know. I don't feel like I can.
Here, can I tell you why? Here's why you're going to do it. Okay. So right after this accident happened, I read this book called The Power of Regret by Dan Pink. And in this book, they studied like 26,000 people in over 100 countries. And they asked them, you know, do you ever look back on your life, wish you'd done things differently? Which it sounds like there's a little bit of that. And they found that one of the biggest regrets people have are boldness regrets. Boldness regrets meaning, I wish I had, if only, why didn't I? Oh, I should have gone for it and I never did. And I read that book and I'm sitting there recovering from this accident thinking to myself, what have I not done that I've always wanted to do? And that was the catalyst that got me to be like, I'm just going to start taking voice lessons. On Zoom every Monday at 3:00 to perform for no one, to practice and prepare for literally nothing for 18 months. And then finally I was like, you know what? That little 8-year-old girl wants to do more. And then I connected with a local producer and that was the beginning of the end. And I just released my 5th original song a week ago and I have a music video out and I'm like now performing at places and doing open mics every month in Baltimore. And I never thought I would do this, but I just started saying yes.
All right. So I'm going to come do comedy before you sing. Rachel Druckenmiller will be singing the National Anthem on Thursday night. In regard to keynotes and TEDx and giving speeches and talking about overcoming fear, which is what, you know, I've done fire walks with Tony Robbins. I've done I'm looking up at the purpose of my life, which I can read to you, to provide joy and energy and passion and for all life's journey. And I have my reading glasses on. So like, I'm a motivated cat, but there is a point where like, I drove over the Bay Bridge the other day. I still get a little wonky, you know, really? height. And this was my home. I lived in the 23rd floor for 20 years of my life, downtown overlooking the harbor. Literally, this was the view. I still don't like window ledges. I still don't like heights. So, I mean, fears are like, I've removed snakes from the basement of my place, but I don't like mosquitoes as an example. So spiders, you know, things that people fear, you know, but I traveled around South America as an American, no problem. Went to Colombia. People think you're going to get kidnapped. I have no problem with certain things that don't make sense, but like moving water, different things, but conquering fears really, you clearly can sing. You're clearly good at it. You clearly probably were already pretty decent at it all along. Like my comedy probably would go over if I ever really did it. Even if I bombed, it would be funny, but, I don't know. I just haven't done it. And I guess the singing part of that, is that your TEDx speech? Is that what you bring to people, is to overcome that fear that you're trying to get me to be funny?
I mean, really what a lot of what I do is that I help capable people stop holding themselves back and do the things that they actually want to do. Like, cause there's a gap for a lot of people between what they're capable of and what they're actually contributing. Maybe like somebody who I'm talking to right now who has the skills to make people laugh, but is holding that back a little bit in other ways. So for instance, and like at companies, that happens all the time. There's people that like, they're good at a thing, but they're like, I'm not qualified. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't have enough experience. What if people think my idea is stupid? What if I say it wrong? And so they hold back and they don't share the thing. They don't say the thing. They don't ask the question. They don't say yes. They don't raise their hand. And then we miss out on contributions. And like, here's what I know about you. Like nobody else, this is a for sure thing, has the exact combination of skills and perspectives and talent and wit and
charm. Put the charm in.
And charm city, and charm that you have. Like nobody. And so if you don't give us what you've got because you decide you're not good enough or whatever judgment you have about yourself, you are robbing the world of a contribution that only you can make, and you're robbing yourself of joy and fulfillment.
Let's go. Limiting beliefs, like limiting beliefs at this point, and fear. All right. I need to have you on once a week. You'll talk me into this. Rachel Druckenmiller's here. So National Anthem for the Orioles, what you apply and it like national anthems. Have you done one of these or many of these or no?
Okay, so here's a funny story. I was at an event in Frederick 3 years ago, keynoting. I stuck around for the afternoon. I stayed for the afternoon speaker. We had an activity. We had to turn to a partner and share a big dream we had. So I tell Annette, I said, Annette, my big dream is to speak and sing in stadiums. All right. So 2 weeks later, Annette sends me an email. Rachel, I can make your dream come true. I said, oh my gosh, Annette, that was really fast. She goes, yeah, your dream of singing the national anthem, I can make that come true. I'm like, that was not my dream. So she was planning this thing for Frederick Tech Week. She's like, you can come out. We got 200 people in a field. We'll pay you nothing. It's a Friday afternoon, hour and drive from my house. And I said yes, because I have nothing else to do. And my dad was like, that sounds kind of fun. You should go do it. So I went. I've never performed in front of anyone. I sang in front of 200 people. It went well enough. Then, let's see, earlier this year, I'm talking to one of my friends who used to play for the Orioles, Ryan Lavarnway. He was a catcher, very briefly. He was voted the most forgettable Oriole of 2015.
I remember him. I haven't forgotten him. Tell him.
There you go. I'll tell him that you remembered him.
And I do sports professionally, so yes, I'm aware.
So you get this. You know who he is. Won a World Series with the Red Sox. But anyway, so he's become one of my best friends. And we were talking earlier in the year about goals that we had for the year. And so I said, I'm like, well, these monthly open mics with my husband to get my performance chops up. I said, maybe sing the national anthem at a minor league game. And then I said, maybe eventually, which is very much couching that, maybe eventually Camden Yards is what I said. Okay. That was it. And then 2.5 months later, I get a text message from him with a screenshot of an email that has a subject line, O's national anthem opportunity for Rachel. And I was like, what did you do? And sure enough, I get connected to Nick, and Nick and I
Look, the Yankees are going to be watching when you do this, just so you know.
I am so aware of that. So like, anyway, I send it. I go on my computer. I'm like, they have to know I can sing the anthem. So I just record a video of me singing the anthem a cappella on my computer. And I'm like, lifelong Orioles fan. I got hit by a truck 6 years ago and now I'm a singer. Here's a video of me singing the anthem. And then within 24 hours, they're like, August 20th, Orioles, Yankees, we want you to come sing the anthem. I was like, oh my gosh.
You're wearing a white shirt, black, orange. What are you going to go with here?
White Ripken jersey.
White Ripken, number 8. Timeless. Classic, and you're going to sing it Whitney Houston style straight through, right? You're not going to go all off. No,
I'm not going to mess with it. No, do not mess with a good thing.
Fritz Scott Key wrote that thing a mile away. Just do it. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn? Let's just go, right?
But we got to own the O. I mean, people are like, do you know about the O? I'm like, do I know about the O? I have lived here my entire life. Yes, pregnant I know
pause,
about the O.
Pregnant pause. That's all you need to do. Just little
pregnant 100%. Give them their moment. Give the fans their moment.
Rachel Druckenmiller's here. Tell everybody how to find you, and if they want you to come out and sing or speak, or hell, I'll bring you on every Monday about 9 a.m. for about 15 minutes of motivational here. I'll be on the road selling out the Garden by the fall, so it'll be good.
Let's do it. Yeah. RachelDruckenmiller.com is my website. Also how we connected on LinkedIn. I'm on there very actively. And then I'm on Instagram, Rachel.Druckenmiller. And then you can find all my music on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, wherever you listen to music. You can find my songs. I'm
on your LinkedIn here. Ryan Lavarnway, Olympian, World Series champion. I'm going to follow him as well. How about that? Just
there you go.
Dad, a little sports angle here that we got going on as well. I will have you out for a crab cake. I sort of squeezed this in here this week because the crab cake thing happened on Wednesday and the Thursday. But we'll figure this out, and we'll do it somewhere in York Road. Maybe up at Costas in Timonium or something like that, since you're in the area here. And how's your back before I let you go? How's your spine? I mean, I've got an L3, L4, like degenerative thing going on. My Planet Fitness, and I do a lot of hot yoga, and I'm, getting older. Dr. Steve over at Elliott Chiropractic taking care of me, takes care of people like you. Yeah. How you doing? How's your back?
So check this out. 3 years ago, I was tired of feeling weak because I just felt weak and powerless. I hired a personal trainer, Allison Siegel, who was in Timonium. And I am at 42 years old in the best shape of my life. I'm lifting heavier weights than I've ever lifted before.
Show me your guns. Come on. There we go. All right. There we go.
Wait, I don't have the right shirt on today.
All right. That's good. All right.
A little bit. Anyway, I should have worn sleeveless. But
I'm 57. I just got back from the beach. I should have at least taken my shirt off because I look good enough. But, that's 5 days of hot yoga on the mat every day and sweating and, trying to hydrate the right way, not with beer like I used to. Nothing wrong with beer once in a while. Well, I'm proud of you, and you're a hell of a success story. And more than that, you're fun. So I'm going to keep you around if that matters.
I'm here for it. I'll stay.
Rachel Druckenmiller is here. You can find her out on the interweb. And if you're at the ballpark on Thursday night before the game, she'll be singing the national anthem. I hope what happens to you, I'm going to leave you with this. I had a mic go out on me when I was singing the national anthem at a Blast game 20 years ago. Still stands as one of the 5 worst things that's ever happened to me. It won't happen to you at Camden Yards on Thursday night, but somewhere out there's a video that I want burned that I hope is burned. And I really pissed Ed Hale off so much he didn't even do the show when he ran for governor. So, but nonetheless, you're going to be fine. I'm not going to say to you, don't mess it up. They put the words on the scoreboard for you. You're fine. You're going to be good. Now, the Orioles afterwards are another thing. If they win on Thursday night, you're back singing the anthem on Friday, okay?
Let's go. You
get the job. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. National anthems, wild card baseball, Luke's and Owings Mills. And we got the Maryland Crab Cake Tour. We're Baltimore positive. Stay with us.